It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports, Pete.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at a stop. I thought I was fine, and then once I got home, I realized it's a lot worse than I thought. I ended up having a ruptured disc. You say you're not hurting, and then an hour later, you're saying you're in all this pain. I just felt like most people would think that I was lying. And that's when I decided to call Daniel Stark. I owe a lot to Daniel Stark. They really got me what I deserved.
The difference is stark.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
With Ease US, make studio quality voiceovers for your videos online in over 149 languages and dialects. Never been easier to create professional grade videos and voiceovers. Try it today at easeus.com. That's EASEUS.com. Ease US.
Hi, I'm Mitch, the co-founder of Cake, a sexual health and wellness company designed for today and designed for you. Yes, you. The entire product line can be found at hellocake.com, and it's also available in every Walmart near you.
Send money abroad in just a few steps with Remitly. Sign up with your email, enter an amount, choose how your loved ones receive the money, enter your recipient's information, select a payment method, hit send, and relax. Download the Remitly app today.
Tervis is all about staying hydrated. Each product is built to last and comes in endless designs to match your personality. Stay refreshed and express yourself with Tervis. Visit tervis.com today and find your perfect tumbler.
Looking for tickets to the hottest shows, games, and events? Ticket Liquidator is your one-stop shop for great prices, no hassles, and guaranteed tickets. Whether it's sports, theater, or concert, for the best seats at the biggest events, start with Ticket Liquidator today at ticketliquidator.com. Ticket Liquidator. The You Like Air 3, launched in 2023, ushers in a new era of sapphire ice cooling technology, offering nearly painless hair reduction in just 3 weeks. That's ULIKE.com. You Like.
All right, it is the Pete Sousa Show, and we are live. We are in Charlotte, North Carolina, and we're rested because we did not go to bed at 2:50 a.m. Eastern Time watching the World Series. But we were certainly shocked when we saw the result, the Dodgers win off a Freddie Freeman walk-off. We'll talk about that in a second. Also want to address the elephant in the room. You ready if you're watching? Holding. Number 54, offense. I got my Big 12 hat on, and I realized over the weekend, it's a beautiful hat, and I will continue to wear it. But if I stole somebody's Foot Locker outfit, I could officiate a Big 12 game this weekend. at least I could start before they threw me off. Man, so much to talk about. Slovacics, thank you so much for presenting the show. I don't know if I said already, I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina, for the ESPN college basketball seminar, which has been like totally beneficial and actually really helpful. Not that last year's wasn't, but I'll already say this year's is better. And I'll talk about that in a moment. College football, craziness, chaos, whatever you want to say. Big 12's doing pretty well. 5 teams in the top 25. Scotty did an amazing job filling in yesterday. We're trying to keep my boy Chris Visser at bay because Visser is like waiting. He's like bloodthirsty with more contributions to the show, which you will see later on this week, starting tomorrow. But because of me and my clumsy schedule, I appreciate those guys for being flexible. In fact, Ross Hodge, the head coach of West Virginia basketball, told me last week that the strongest trees that survive the hurricanes are the flexible ones. Remember that. All right. So we got to stay flexible in life and with this show, clearly. Thank you to Crawford Austin Properties, Socorro Family Forward, Daniel Stark Injury Lawyers, First National Bank of Central Texas, a couple more big sponsors brewing. Got to thank the Doghouse on University Ave, awesome sports bar in downtown Waco in Central Texas. A lot of great sponsors involved with this, and Extraco Bank, of course, too. A lot of good stuff going. That game last night, okay? 12 months ago, Freddie Freeman did the same thing in game 1 of the World Series. Almost exactly a year. I think it was a year and 3 days ago. He ends the game with a walk-off. The writer for ESPN, whose name escapes me right now, but I was reading the article this morning, he said, last year it was elation, right, for Dodgers fans. He said this year it was liberation. It was the 18th inning, the 399th minute, the 19th pitcher that either team had marched out to the hill, and Freddie Freeman ends the game, gives the Dodgers a 2-1 lead in the World Series. Now, I'm positive Pete, right? The only thing that I'll say negative is that could quite possibly, again, I didn't watch the game, so I don't want to come off like an expert. If the 86 Mets and the Boston Red Sox, now different time, different teams, different personalities, probably the most, for me, exciting World Series ever. If Game 6 had gone 19 innings, we'd be talking about it right now. Like, we'd always be talking about it. I have a feeling, a sneaking suspicion that kind of bums me out that we probably won't be talking about this game in a week. It's just the way that the sport has changed in the zeitgeist of America and American sports. Like, people are going to be talking about Travis Kelce, had an explosive last night. Like that's almost a bigger story than this World Series game. And I'm telling you, to most people, it just might be, which is super strange. But congratulations to the Dodgers. Not like they care that I'm giving them congratulations. And it always is cool to see. I was downstairs getting coffee to start this thing up. And I saw a Facebook message, and it was Scott Williams, who's here for ESPN. And it was a screenshot of the ESPN celebration. And Scott, like me, had obviously woken up and seen it. And it just said WTF in huge letters. And Scott's a huge baseball guy, too. So that's wild, and it's cool that the World Series has got some juice now, and hopefully it sticks because I'll be watching from time to time at least. My computer says load disk space. We'll deal with that later. Hopefully it doesn't become a problem this morning. So let's talk a little bit about Brian Kelly. This is a tough topic for me because I did not play in the NFL, right? I did not coach college or pro football. I was awarded a scholarship to the University of Richmond. I went to school there. I had a heart problem. I didn't play, if this is the first time you're watching. And I basically became a pseudo member, like the lowest ranking member of the coaching staff. If I was Michael Lombardi, I would say that I was like assistant to the head coach, but I wasn't. I was just like, I was as low as you could go. I was running videotapes, VHS tapes, to like East Virginia to meet the guy from Liberty so they could trade tapes so the coaches could evaluate him. But I had to do something to earn my scholarship. All that being said, after school, I was lucky enough to work for a guy named Gary Horton and me and Todd McShay. And Gary did football scouting, but Gary had worked with football teams. And Gary did God rest his soul, did a pretty good job of implementing and instituting in my brain, like, look, these coaches that we shit on and talk poorly about, like, they have families. They work very hard. They are good people. And, for us to rake them over the coals over timeouts and, fourth down decisions, like at some point it's warranted, right? They're pros. They need to get criticized. The media has to do their job. But a lot of times it gets a little extra when we talk about firing people and, oh, well, who cares about the coach? He gets fired. Well, the coach has like 12 assistants. They don't make as much money. Their kids are in school. So it's an ugly situation when a coach gets fired. I just want to get that out of the way because I don't want to come off like somebody who's senseless and insensitive to some of the things that go on inside households and universities and some of the challenges for certain personalities. Okay. That being said, Brian Kelly getting fired from LSU, I have like zero issues with. And I've never, ever gotten a good vibe from Brian Kelly. In fact, I'll tell you how I feel about it, like to the core. Okay. As a young guy, I was working in some like football circles. I was doing work for ESPN. I was doing, and I was doing like spotting and stats. I was on a crew with like Rob Stone and David Pollock. And, I was kind of a mess. This is before I got sober. But, I'd heard things about Brian Kelly, just like, and not from those two guys. But like, I just heard he was kind of like, is this guy for real? Is he authentic, And then, he gets the Notre Dame job. And that's when I transitioned to like, Brian Kelly is the perfect leader for Notre Dame. And here's what I mean, okay? No, and I understand I'm Catholic, right? Notre Dame tries to operate on pure intentions. And there is something very special about Notre Dame. More special about the Lou Holtz Notre Dame. Really, I believe that. And the Don Devine Notre Dame. And even the Jerry Faust Notre Dame. Like all those guys, maybe not Devine so much. He was kind of more of a CEO, but like, or Dan Devine. But like, if you go to Notre Dame and you can be two things at Notre Dame. You can be an authentic coach like Lou Holtz who gets the job done through being very honest and just cutting right to the thick of it, right? And Lou Holtz to this day says things that make people very uncomfortable, right? Agree, disagree. Brian Kelly was the perfect coach for Notre Dame because at the same time, there is a Wall Street appeal to Notre Dame. Honestly, I would even compare it to Kevin Willard at Villanova now. Jay Wright, like super good looking, super charismatic, super amazing coach. You would think that Jay Wright was made in a lab. He isn't. That's who Jay Wright is. He's authentic. Kevin Willard wishes he was made in a lab. So I feel like he tries to make up for all those things by being a little too slick and maybe a little shifty. That goes to Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly was more of a CEO at Notre Dame. He knows the keys of getting things done. He knows how to motivate. Unfortunately, on the underbelly of that, maybe knows how to manipulate a little bit. And he chooses to leave Notre Dame after success. Or got played in a national championship game. He gets the job done, right? But there's something about Louisiana. I can say this because I lived there. I lived in Monroe, Louisiana for 2 years when I was doing TV news. And I'll get to a TV news topic here in a second if I remember to. But, if there's one thing about the people in Louisiana, like, that's as real as it gets, dude. As real as it gets. There's no contest there to be somebody else. Everybody pretty much is themselves, from what I've witnessed, from LSU all the way down. I actually spent time at the Capitol working in TV news, and even like some of the politicians. I remember working with the guy, Mike Walsworth, and John Kennedy used to come to our station The guy who you see now, who a lot of people have some differences is, maybe his last name isn't, maybe his first name isn't John, but it's Kennedy. You see him all the time. Gray hair guy, staunch Republican, says crazy stuff. He used to come to our station at KWTX and we'd interview him like every month because he wanted to hit every single parish. And he was a lot of things, but dude, the guy was himself. Brian Kelly is not himself. Brian Kelly is not real. Brian Kelly is not authentic. And you don't get much margin for error when you're not authentic. The first thing the guy did when he got to LSU was he fired Tony Mofford, who was the strength coach there forever, who really was a key to a lot of the success that LSU had. Go all the way back to Matt Doherty when he got the job as head coach at North Carolina, and he annihilated half of the staff that was there. I understand you want to bring in your own culture, but there's certain people, certain things that you keep in place. And that's just being self-aware and respecting, the state and what you have going for you that's already in place, and respecting the power of the history there, right? Another huge mistake that Brian Kelly made, that I'm surprised he made, because when you read about some of the experiences that recruits had there, that parents had there, his assistant coaches did most all the recruiting, okay? And on a college football team, even on a pro football team, and Bill Belichick, who has been, jettisoned, right, from the history books as one of the best coaches of all time, because we're prisoners of the moment right now. But even Bill Belichick, if you talk to him or ask him, what's the connection to getting guys to do stuff? It's making a connection with the player, a real connection, right? Like being in the trenches with him. If the trenches are his house when you're recruiting him, and you're a college football coach, like those are the trenches. If the trenches is spending extra time getting to know his mom, like those are the trenches. And those guys will connect with you and do more for you now because you have that relationship. That's psychology 101. Now, you could take the approach, and it certainly sounds like this is what Brian Kelly did, and I've heard that this is what he did, that CEO approach, like, hey, I am 64 years old. The dude just turned 64. I'm not going to be able to connect with these guys like my assistant coaches will be able to connect with them. So I'm going to let them handle the lion's share of the work. And it's not to say that Brian Kelly's lazy. I think he just misassessed that whole situation. I just came from calling West Virginia TCU, where, Rich Rodriguez in West Virginia, they're having a tough day, right? They're having a tough moment right now. But Rich Rod, when he walked in that room to talk to us and he sat down, I was like, man, this is a genuine, authentic dude. The first thing I thought, as somebody who was recruited once and coaches would come to my living room, I was like, I'd play for this guy. He's just like real. He's original. He's not like super polished. He doesn't care to be. Brian Kelly is not those things. And like when you are an imposter everywhere you go, when you're a chameleon everywhere you go, it's not going to work for you. It's just not. And the moment that you slip up and, he's getting fired, the story around it, at least, is that he went in and tried to save some coaches' jobs and the administration or president wouldn't do it or AD wouldn't do it. So he freaked out and left. He was shouting at another grown man. That to me is total PR. It's BS, dude. That is not, don't tell me you fell on the sword. Right? Because you wouldn't let certain guys go. Like, I do not believe that. Head coaches do that all the time now if it's in their best interest and they have a vision to win. I'm not saying that's not true or it's a total lie, but I have trouble believing it. So Brian Kelly is gone. It doesn't bother me that he's gone. I feel bad for his assistants and all that stuff. There's people in the mix there that are, have to really make some hardcore life decisions, and that sucks. But that guy being fired from LSU and LSU not working does not surprise me. For instance, if you want to see authentic, and I know it's a big business and a big building, walk down the hall and go see the pain in the ass women's basketball coach at LSU. That, although it can be frustrating to folks, is authentic, right? That's the exact opposite of Brian Kelly. And I think the major mistake, right, The unforgivable mistake in a football sense that Brian Kelly made was losing the connection with recruits and players. And I think estimating that this is more of a transactional business now, and I don't have to get as invested in these recruits' lives as I did in the past. And I think that is eventually one of the big things that hurt him. You can't be a CEO in Louisiana. I mean, no offense, they don't have too many CEOs in the state, right? But yeah, so I think that was his downfall. So let me switch real quick. I'm watching TV news here in Charlotte. This is in Charlotte. This event is in Charlotte. When I worked in Waco, all I wanted to do was get a job working on the news in Charlotte. And when I tell you God does for you what you can't do for yourself, being here in this room for this ESPN College Basketball Summit, being so lucky, downstairs in a half hour, I'll be with everybody from Jay Billis to Jim Boeheim, and to be a part of that and to talk to some people I dreamed of working with. You know, thank God I sucked so bad as a news anchor that I never got a job in Charlotte, because I look at these poor bastards, and it's a great job. I mean, I did the job. Okay. It's fun to wake up and be on the morning news, but the process of it is you wake up at 2 a.m., which is, I don't care what anyone says, mind numbing, and it will make you insane. It truly does. And then the news sucks. It's not fun. So thank you, God, because I would sometimes go to bed at night thinking, man, I'm not a good enough news anchor. It's never going to happen for me. But then my true calling came back around, and I'm lucky enough to call these games. This summit has been great. ESPN has done a fantastic job. One of the things I can tell you without getting like so into what we've been up to, we had an amazing moment yesterday, and I can share this, where we really did like broadcasting 101. They played the scenario last year when Juju Watkins got hurt in the NCAA tournament. And we went through exactly how that was covered and produced and directed and called play-by-play wise. First of all, the guy on the call of the game and the woman on the call, it was Eric Freed and Chrissy Tomascotti, right? She's the coach. And dude, they did the most amazing job. And I don't want to bore you with this, but like Watkins goes down, it's a horrible injury. And, you know, Eric doesn't talk for like almost a minute. And, you know, there's nothing to say. When he has a report or facts, he'll share them. But, you know, Juju Watkins is the biggest star in the sport, and she's down. And you got a whole sport really like waiting on every second. And it just seems like forever that he's not talking and there's no replay. But, you know, our boss, who is like really cool, this guy, Alex Ferramentino, said, you know, this business sometimes can be tough. It's tough. Like live sports, live events can be tough. And like, there's no elixir for a moment like this. Like you just kind of have to sit in it. You don't enjoy that anyone's hurt, and you don't like feast on it, but you have to, it becomes a news gathering business, and you wait. And it was good just for young broadcasters. Like when you have a TV game and someone gets hurt, like embrace the silence till you know the facts. There were a lot of other anecdotal things that were attached to that, but I found that to be really cool. You know, and to be here and to learn as much as I've learned just yesterday. We have like, again, a whole nother seminar coming up today. And we'll be done at noon. Look, there's the guy. I'm not going to say his name. This guy on the screen. All I wanted to do was have this guy's job. And now I look at him and I think, that poor bastard. I swear to God, I do. And he's no poor bastard. He's having a great life. You know, he's an anchor on the news in Charlotte, but could have been me. And it's not, thank God. I get to do the Pete Sousa show with Chris Visser and Scotty Swingler. Like, that's pretty awesome. And you guys actually watch this. And I love you so much for it.
Serving Central Texas since 1889, TFNB, your bank for life, takes pride in being more than a bank. TFNB, we remain committed to these principles. If you value them too, come join us. TFNB, your bank for life.
With a focus on performance, design, and customer service, we're here to help you work smarter, not harder. Join us on our journey to simplify your world. Visit acasis.com today. That's ACASIS.com today.
Designed to elevate the off-road experience, enabling adventurers to conquer any terrain. For 50 years, you've trusted us on your toughest recoveries, to your most breathtaking destinations, and in countless unforgettable memories.
We offer fast shipping, exceptional customer support, and furniture solutions that stand up to high traffic environment. Elevate your space with BizChair's vast selection of stylish, reliable, and cost-effective furniture. Visit us today at bizchair.com to transform your business.
But boy, it looked effortless.
Man, watch this.
Layups, floaters, threes. He was like an unsolvable equation.
I was born like this.
His resilience, his strength, his belief, adversity never stood a chance.
Know your power.
VivoSun's mission is to empower growers with stylish and effective products, making indoor growing accessible and enjoyable for everyone. Visit vivosun.com today and get started making growing plants and vegetables easy and automatic.
whypersonalloans.com. Request a loan anytime. Our partners can offer loans up to $35,000 with varying rates and terms. Review your loan offer with no obligation and decide what works for you. Visit personalloans.com today.
So all you have to do is tap your Popple to the back of someone's phone like that, and they instantly get your social media and contact info right on their screen. They don't need an app or a Popple to receive your info. So get your Popple today and start impressing everyone you meet. Make it pop.
Is your Mac running slow? Mac Booster 8 is your all-in-one solution to clean up 20 types of junk files. Get your Mac running like new again with Mac Booster 8. Visit macboost.net today.
It's the Pete Sousa Show.
Farmhounds offers natural treats and chews made with quality products that support family farm, regenerative agriculture, and humane farming practices. Give your dog the best with wholesome, organic ingredients that promote health and happiness. Shop now at farmhounds.com.
Circulon C1 Series Clad with Scratch Defense Non-Stick. Maximize cooking, minimize cleaning. Discover the unmatched durability and elegance scratch-free, worry-free, forever.
I am obsessed with helping business owners increase their traffic and turn it into profit through the power of Pinterest marketing. It's this amazing platform where people are looking for ideas, inspiration. They have a problem and they're actively looking for a solution.
Stability.
There's a couple more big stories I want to tell from the weekend. I got a real good one. I'm going to save it for tomorrow for the sake of time. But I do want to quickly just go into my thoughts about Baylor and Dave Aranda and the coaching cycle. You know, this week, again, I'm fortunate when I call these games for ESPN, the TCU West Virginia game, where Stephen A. Smith says it. He does a good job of saying it. Like, you know, like I do have a bit of a football background, but I'm not a coach. I never played quarterback. I played defensive end, but wasn't smart enough to play quarterback. But you know, like I'm around a lot of people who did those things, who coached, who played quarterback in huge games, who had produced games the week before where they gathered all kinds of information. You're privy to a lot of, I'm not going to say exclusive information, but behind the scenes information. You know what I'm talking about. And, you know, the more and more I hear about the coaching cycle. And this isn't rocket science because you see everybody getting fired. But now it's to the point, right? It's like, well, okay, you fire Dave Aranda, which unfortunately, man, and I hate this so much. I do, but it might be time. And that's up to Mac Rhodes, right? And Scotty can laugh and be like, ha, 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 of course it's time. This is when Scotty, who I love like a brother, can be like almost kind of evil. You know, he's like, ha, 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 what do you mean? He might. But no, he should probably. I'm not going to disrespect the knowledge of the audience here just because I would love Dave Aranda to get another shot, but he can't. You know, it's just that's me getting wrapped up in personal stuff. I think you got to let him go. And I think now what may be happening, and I have no like inside information on this, but there are a lot of hot coaches out there, like really hot coaches, right? James Franklin, Brian Kelly. You could see Dabo Sweeney's name out there. And those are just some big ones, right? And then you look at other schools where guys are still employed, like Goulish, like one that I'm going to say right now, or Kendall Briles at TCU. You know, he could get that Arkansas job. But there's one guy who people are not talking about as much as maybe they probably should. And this guy is a reason why Baylor could make a move where they were to step away from Dave Aranda and go right to this young man. And his name is GJ Kinne, right? And I know it's been talked about before, but I can tell you, you know, I've had opportunities to meet Coach, to interact with him. I know people who know him. You know, Joe Douglas, the old GM of the Jets, a teammate of mine at Richmond. He and Kinne were together in Philadelphia for a little bit. There's like a love affair there. I know, well, I shouldn't say love affair, but I know Joe is crazy about GJ Kinne. And I know that what GJ Kinne did, you know, I called that first Baylor game when in Kinne's first game over from Incarnate Word. And it was brought to my attention that not only did his father play at Baylor, that his brother was actually on the Baylor roster. I think it was 2022 or 2023. And he would have gone to Baylor, but he wasn't quite good enough. This is a guy who would love to work at this job. He would love this job. Like, so here we are. This is Baylor. We have a guy who this would be the job for him. And I think the same thing could be said for Dave Aranda, but Dave didn't have the ties to begin with, right? I think that's one of the reasons I wish Dave was just kept that run going after the Sugar Bowl, because I feel like Dave could have been at Richmond, could have been at Baylor forever. He would have wanted to stay there. And I say it again, I just love the friggin' guy. But it's business. It's not show friends, it's show business, right? So when you think about the eventual dismissal of Dave Aranda, which seems to be pending, boy, GJ Kinne looks like a home run hire. But he's an innovator offensively, right? I mean, he really is. He is like Kenny Dillingham type age, type charisma, type guy. Like, that's the kind of guy I think you want leading a Big 12 program right now. And I mention that because the Big 12 is probably the third best college football program, right? So it's a perfect place for young coaches, right, to come get their opportunity, blow, you know, knock the socks off people, take your school to a different level, which, by the way, GJ Kinne has done at Incarnate Word. He's done at Texas State. I know it's going to be different at Baylor, but it's not like you have to do a ton of movement there. In a minute, you could get Baylor right back on top, right? In a minute. And there's no reason Baylor shouldn't be a team that competes every year in the Big 12. This is not the SEC. So I think Kenny's the guy. I think that there could be, and I have no inside information, but if you're getting frustrated about the Baylor coaching search and all that stuff, let's not be too naive. There's conversations being had right now that we are not privy to. So I don't want to hear, basically is what I'm saying, oh, who are you going to get? Who can you hire? There's so many jobs that are open, you know? And James Franklin's not coming to Baylor. No kidding. And honestly, no thanks, right? GJ Kinne would be a Baylor guy pretty much. And I think it would just be a home run. So that is something that I am hoping for. If Coach Aranda were to go. Another thing to think about is that next Monday, Baylor basketball opens their basketball season, November 3rd. Like, what? Yeah. I'll be doing the game for radio. And then after that game on the 3rd, November 9th, they welcome Washington. I was talking to Fran Fraschilla. He'll be in town calling that game with Rich Hollenberg. And then my first game is November 10th at the Pentagon. No, nobody's inviting me to that Pentagon. It's the Pentagon in South Dakota, Iowa State and Mississippi State, for like ESPN 2. It's like, one of those early classics. One thing I can tell you, I can't reveal too much. It's funny. There's a reason why this seminar is not on Zoom, and it's because they don't want stuff getting leaked out. And there's not like major, we don't have the codes over here, okay? But there's just a lot of really good information, and I appreciate ESPN for like doing this, and for me even being here. I'm just very, very, very grateful. It's weird to be in Charlotte, by the way. I'm staying in a hotel where downstairs I used to get drunk as shit all the time. It's the Marriott Center City. They used to have a bar downstairs called Champions. That's where we would have the Bobcats radio show, and I would show up as a weekly like public relations guy to facilitate it. And I would drink many, many beers downstairs. And then I would go to different places where I would drink more beers and do other stuff. We went to a beautiful dinner last night it's a new restaurant called Church and Union. It used to be called Stool Pigeons. And I would pony up to the bar at Stool Pigeons and drink about 100 beers on Saturdays back in the day. It's coming to the point where I get to come back here, I'll have 14 years of sobriety on November 7th. It's October 28th. Pretty cool, but I wouldn't call it a triumphant return because some scary stuff happened here. So I'm always like,
Football is back, and Underdog is the best place to make picks and win money all season long. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and more. Get your picks right and you can win up to 5,000 times your cash. You can play with as little as $1. Download the app today and sign up with promo code Sousa to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code Sousa. That's SOUSA. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog. Will you be next? Underdog. Make picks. Win money.
Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play-and-get-terms_DFS_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 HOPE line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. That's 467-369.
What's up, everybody? Pete Sousa Show. Scotty Swingler coming to you from the studios in Waco. We'll get back to Pete and Charlotte in just a minute. Hey, I wanted to let you know, I went 3 for 3 last night on Underdog. Gave you a little Monday Night Football NBA combo. By the way, that's 3 picks in a row I've given you here on the Pete Sousa Show on Underdog where I've won money. So maybe you should start playing along with me. Here's my picks for tonight. It's all NBA action for me tonight. Jonathan Kuminga, higher than 5.5 rebounds versus the Clippers. Here's the big swing. This is a bigger swing than I've taken on any of these picks so far. Davion Mitchell had a double-double in the Heat's opening game. He has not had one in the last 2 games. I think he's back to double-double territory tonight. Sick 'em Bears. And then VJ Edgecombe. He has proven 3 games in a row. It is not a fluke. He is that good. Higher than 29.5 points, plus rebounds, plus assists. And by the way, I'm able to take this big swing on Davion Mitchell because I did a flex pick. Again, Underdog allows me to make these 3 picks. And when I do the flex option, if I get 2 of the 3, I win money. And I'm very, very confident in this Kuminga and the Edgecombe pick. Then I can take this big swing with Davion Mitchell. And if that goes as well and I go 3 for 3, I win even more money. Just one way you can play on Underdog. And again, I have won 3 in a row. So you should pick along with me. Use that promo code Sousa, SOUSA. You'll get some bonus cash, $50 along with a $5 deposit. They give you that just to play more Underdog. Do that with the promo code Sousa. It helps us out. It helps you out. Matt, help you keep up with some NBA basketball tonight. We'll be right back. It's the Pete Sousa Show.
Overwhelmed by your inbox? Clean Email is here to help. Organize, clean, and manage your emails with powerful automation tools. Say goodbye to spam and clutter and enjoy a stress-free inbox. Try Clean Email today at cleanemail.com.
What if you could clean clean? With bio-based formulas and deep cleaning enzymes. No dyes, phthalates, or mystery ingredients. Just powerful pods for your dishes and laundry. Now you can, with drops made clean, made to clean.
Welcome to Kitbag, the ultimate destination for football fans. Whether you're cheering for Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester United, or any other top club, for true football passion, think Kitbag. Visit kitbag.com today. That's kitbag.com. Kitbag.
It's the Restore Clarity Focus Patch, my little secret weapon for staying sharp, focused, and on task. Each box comes with simple instructions inside, so you always know exactly how to apply it. Each patch lasts for 3 days. I love that I can wear it all day.
Samsonite is the world leader in durable, high-quality luggage and travel accessories. Travel with Samsonite and pack confidence every step of the way. Shop now at shop.samsonite.com. Samsonite. At Tusane's, we understand that maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be challenging, especially in today's fast-paced world. That's why our mission is to make fitness accessible to everyone, anywhere. Visit Tusanes.com today and start your journey to better health. That's TOUSAINS.com.
A house is a property, but we live in homes. Home sweet home. Homes where the heart is. We aim to deliver the best home buying and selling experience so you can spend less time real estating and more time living.
Unlock a world of convenience with Mullybox, your one-stop solution for personalized subscription boxes delivered right to your door. Each box is tailored to your tastes. Mullybox.com. That's MULLYBOX.com.
Better sleep, inspired by nature. Your back, hips, and shoulders will fall into perfect alignment in any position, meaning that you get deeper, more comfortable rest. Visit ecoterrabeds.com.
It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports,
Welcome to Market XLS, your all-in-one Excel solution for investors. Designed as an enterprise-grade platform, Market XLS caters to investment managers, secure and efficient investment management and research. Book your free demo.
Everybody at Equilife really has a passion and a real interest in helping people feel well. How much further can we go to get you feeling even better? It is a complete partnership between the two of us.
So all you have to do is tap your Popple to the back of someone's phone, like that, and they instantly get your social media and contact info right on their screen. They don't need an app or a Popple to receive your info. So get your Popple today and start impressing everyone you meet. Make it pop.
It's hard to find supplements that work. No, thank you. Plant-based supplements made from the Earth's most powerful plants for your immune health, gut health, workouts, and more. Find out more at auraorganic.com. Stability.
One more personal note. One of the coolest things, Sunday night, I went home to see my mom. She had like a mini stroke. So my brother and I went home. Right after the West Virginia game, I went home. And she's doing good, well enough. I somehow talked them in, the three of us, on October 26th, it was, Sunday. We watched the original John Carpenter's Halloween. Okay. The cinematography in that movie, okay? If you watch it, you will be rewarded. It's an unbelievably shot movie, okay? And I'm not a cinephile, right? But it's an unbelievably shot movie. And there's one thing about the movie. First of all, Michael Myers is the Michael Jordan of horror movie guys. So that's just like anybody who you can't kill, I'm a fan of. Sorry, if they're bad, it's true. Because I always try to take that on myself, right? Like I can work so hard, you just can't stop me, right? So like Michael Myers, you can't kill him. You can't kill him. And the one thing about the movie that really jumps out at you and hits you over the head, and I'm still not sure whether it's the chicken or the egg, it's Jamie Lee Curtis's first like big role. It says introducing Jamie Lee Curtis. She jumps off the screen, like jumps off the screen. So I'm not sure if everybody else in the movie that's acting sucks and she's just amazing, but holy mackerel, she is out of this world. She did win an award. My brother looked it up. And we were getting into all like I know too much about Halloween, like how Michael Myers early in the movie, his sister is the first person he kills, and it makes no sense. Why would he kill his sister? You know, he's a 5-year-old boy. Well, the idea behind it is he's pure evil. It doesn't make any sense. And there we have the movie. That's what I'm sorry, I don't want to get too into this, but it is almost Halloween. Okay, I'll tell you the last story. Maybe I'll tell it. I'm going to tell it tomorrow. Okay, I'll tell it tomorrow. Because it's a great college football story, but it's long and involved. And I do kind of have to get going here. I'm so appreciative to have the Pete Sousa show here in Charlotte, a place where, you know, I did PR here for the Hornets. When I got sober, I came back, I broadcaster for the Hornets. And I'll tell you one story. This is a sober story. Okay, this is true. So, and then I got to go. When I was at the end of my in my grips here in Charlotte, I was doing radio for the Charlotte Bobcats. Right, I had lost my job with the Sixers doing PR. I had connections here that knew I wanted to get into radio. People that trusted me enough and believed in me enough. They're like, "We're going to give you an opportunity. You can be our radio sideline reporter for all the Bobcats home broadcasts, and you can do the studio for every broadcast, home and away, like halftime show presented by go through stats. You know, most of the season was great. Probably at 1/3 of it, I was inebriated on the air. Not something I'm proud of, not something that's funny because I take the craft very seriously, and I hate that about that myself. And there's shame there, but you know, I've worked through it. I've made amends to all the people involved, and you know, that's just something. That's part of my story. I've said it before on bigger platforms than this. So, but the last game I worked, really, it was a playoff game at home. It was on TNT. I'd always wanted to be around the NBA playoffs. This is my second time because the Sixers were in the playoffs, but I was doing the halftime work for the Bobcats. And I had been out all night the night before, and I woke up in the morning. And I had the worst idea ever, but it seemed like the best idea. I'm going to continue to do drugs because it'll keep me awake. I keep doing drugs, you know, the ones that make you kind of speedy, that you put up your nose. And I get to the arena. It's a day game. I start to feel uncomfortable because I'm out of these drugs now. I can't drink. And I'm just feeling like broken glass. And it's the third quarter. The Bobcats are getting ready to make a run. I'm standing in the tunnel. My radio position is down the hall, and Michael Jordan walks by me. He owns the team. Now, Michael doesn't know me, but he knows my face, and he walks around me, and he pats me on the back because he's trying to get to his seat. And I'm like, you know, because I'm all like jammed up. And he kind of like nods his head, and he goes and he sits down. And I'm telling you, at that time, I'm thinking to myself, like, I either want a vodka tonic or like a bullet, you know, to take me out. I'm ready to eat a bullet because I don't want to be here. Now think about that. As a little kid obsessed with sports, who all he wanted to do was broadcast, I am at the NBA playoffs where I am a working broadcaster. The greatest player in the world has just cozied up to me to get to his seat, and all I want to do is leave and get a vodka tonic, right? And I can remember thinking to myself, where did you go wrong, man? Like that was. And the bottoms got deeper before I got sober, but that was a very deep one, right? And it happened right down the goddamn street. So 3 years later, I get sober. This is the true story. They're all true here on the Pete Sousa Show. And I get a job to come back, and I'm working for the Hornets now. In between getting sober and this opportunity with the Hornets, it had been about 3 years. I had found, you track down the people that you have amends to make with, and they might say, hey, kick rocks, but you tell them, hey, I apologize. You put me in a position to succeed and I didn't do right by you. I had a problem. That problem interfered with my work. And I apologize for that. And if there's anything you need to tell me that I did, like, please, but I want you to know I'm not that person anymore. Like, you do that. And I did that to Seth Bennett, the guy who gave me the job. I did it to Scott Lauer, the radio guy who helped me get hired. I did it to Matt Carroll, who I work with, to Brevin Knight, who I work with. Some people will be like, dude, get out of here. I don't care. You're a piece of garbage. Those people were not like that. And Matt Rachinsky was another one. And when the time came, a job was open. And so they rehired me. So now we're 3 years later and I'm living in Charlotte again. And I'm walking into a game and I'm stone sober and I can't wait to do this game. I was doing a online pregame show for the Hornets and I was doing radio sideline. And Buzz Peterson and Michael Jordan. Now, Buzz, they're like best buddies, Buzz and Michael. And Buzz knew me. Buzz is cool. If I saw Buzz today, I could say, what's up? He is the coolest guy. So Buzz and Jordan are walking up the hall. It's like a Tuesday night game. They're playing the Wizards, and I'm there early. And they're walking by me. And Buzz is like, hey, what's up, Pete? And Jordan slaps me on the back, much like he did years earlier when I was in my darkest era. And he goes, what's up, Pete? And everybody kept walking. And I thought to myself, like, man, this stuff works. Like, this sobriety stuff works. I've been doing the work. And that was like a really cool God wink reward, whatever. So we'll end this on an inspirational note. Like, if you feel like you can't ever get sober or something is bothering you and you can't do it, and it'll never turn around, take the steps to make the change. That's going to be really hard. But someday down the line, and it's not going to be overnight, you will see. I can promise you. And it may not be something as, something as maybe remarkable as that. I don't even know if that's the right word, but you get my idea. Something as poignant, but you will see it. All right. That's all. The Pete Sousa Show returns tomorrow. I got a great football story coming back from West Virginia. We're going to have great guests for you. Thank you guys so much for being here. The ruling on the field is a penalty on the offense. That penalty has been declined. Game over with my official's hat. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Can't wait. See ya. Scotty, and this.
It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
Show. Sports.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at 70 miles an hour. I was injured, had a concussion. The insurance company, they delayed. They were playing games from the initial conversation. They weren't going to help me. The biggest thing I learned through this is that you can't go through this alone. I called Daniel Stark. They were going to help me and everything was going to be all right. Daniel Stark got me 10 times the insurance company offered.
The difference is stark.
Show. Sports.
Our professionals are not only experts in managing urgent concerns, but also in providing top-notch preventative health care. We're proud to connect pet owners to a vast network of licensed veterinary professionals, ready to address any immediate concerns. Book your first appointment today.
Nalgene Outdoor has been your trusted companion, fueling adventures and helping protect the planet. We're committed to reducing waste, improving access to clean water, and providing simple, safe, and sustainable products for you and your family. NALGENE.com. We are Rogue Media Sports.